Hey guys, it's Samuel, and today I'll be talking on the basics of anatomy. And first, I'll be treating these three things: planes and axes, directions, and the regions of the human body. But I'd like to start with planes and axes. What is a plane? A plane is just a flat surface that divides into two parts, not necessarily equal, while an axis is just a straight line in which an object rotates. Take, for example, take this as my plane. Yeah, you can see this is my plane. Now the first plane I'll talk about is the sagittal plane. It comes like this, dividing into what? The right and left parts. And when it's away from the midline, it's called parasagittal, and in the midline it's called mid-sagittal. So organs that fall mid-sagittally, you can talk about your navel and your nose. While parasagittally, you can talk about your eyes before parasagittal. So the next thing we're going to talk about now is the horizontal plane. So now the horizontal plane comes like this, dividing you what into superior and inferior parts, or people say cranial and caudal parts. The last of all is what? Your frontal plane. It comes like this, frontal or coronal plane, dividing you what into your anterior and posterior parts. That's it for the planes. An axis, like I said earlier, is just a straight line in which an object rotates. Like this. If this should be my object and this should be a straight line and an object rotates around it, I can definitely say that this is my axis. Right? So we're going to see different types of axes around different planes. So the first plane I'm going to start about now is the horizontal plane. Along the horizontal plane, which divides into cranial and caudal, or superior and inferior, you can find out that we have two basic types of axes. We have the vertical axis and the horizontal. Whether it is coming like this, whether it's like this, as far as it's not straight, it is horizontal. So along this horizontal plane, what kind of axis do we have? We have what? The vertical axis along the horizontal plane. Now along the sagittal plane, what kind of axis do we have? We have what? The horizontal axis. And along the frontal plane, you find out that we also still have what? The what? Horizontal axis. So we're like, what then? What's now the difference between the middle one, the frontal one, and the sagittal one? No need to put big grammars, just call this the sagittal horizontal axis and the frontal horizontal axis. That's that for planes and axes. Now directions. You'll be like, why do we need to study planes and axes? You find out that the human body, the movement of the human body, takes place in a plane around an axis. Like blah, what does that mean? Just hold on. Now, if the human body takes place in a plane around an axis, and an axis is a straight line which rotates around an object, which an object rotates around it, then you can say that the human body is simultaneous to being an axis in a way. Okay, example. If an object is to be passed, okay, in a frontal horizontal axis, this. Now, the only way you can move your hand in this sagittal frontal horizontal axis and frontal horizontal axis without disturbing the object is this. If you try moving like this, you find out that you're disturbing this. You think of a method you move without disturbing this object. The only way you can move is this. And what do you call this? Elevation and depression. So along the frontal horizontal axis, the only movement possible is what? Elevation and depression. When we talk about movement, we're going to talk about the different kind of movements in different kind of joints. Every kind of joint has its own specific type of movement. Some joint allows for some movement, while some do not. So we are using this joint as an example because it allows for all kinds of movements. You can see your shoulder joint allows, but you see your elbow joint, you can only do this. You can't do this. So we are going to use this for basically an example of all kinds of movements. So now I just told you along the sagittal, along the frontal horizontal axis, it allows for what? Elevation and depression along the frontal horizontal axis. Now, let's now pass this object in what? Sagittal horizontal axis. That means it's going to be coming like this. If you try to do the same thing you did for the frontal horizontal axis, you find out that you're going to disrupt this object. See? You are pushing the object forward. So the only way you can move your hand without disturbing this object is if you do like this. So what's this movement called? Abduction and adduction. The little trick I used to know this movement is this. I call this abduction and add. You add to yourself, so this adduction. So the last of all should be what? The vertical axis, which is occurs at the horizontal plane. The vertical axis comes like this, along the vertical axis. You find out that the only way you can move, if you try to move like this, you are disturbing the object. If you try to move like this, you are disturbing the object. The only way you can move your body without disturbing this object is if you should do this. And what's this called? Rotation. But you know your hand cannot fully rotate. It rotates to an extent. So putting your hand down, what is called, this action is called pronation, and opening is called supination. That's basically that for the movement of the body. That's some, like, let's take an example from that joint. Okay, let's do the elbow joint. Find out that if you pass an object in the sagittal horizontal axis for your elbow joint, the only way you can move your hand is supposed to be like this, but you can't because your elbow joint is restricted. If you move like this, you're already moving your shoulder joint. So along the sagittal frontal axis, you find out that movement is not possible in the elbow joint. That's that for that. So now, finally, we're talking about the regions of the human body. Regions of the human body. There are basically 9 regions of your body. Now let's take anatomical position. This is anatomical position you should know. Hands spread forward, legs facing forward. So now, we have 9 regions of your body. Here we have your epigastric region, then below we have your hypogastric, then in between we have your umbilical region of your navel, umbilical region, epigastric, hypogastric, and umbilical region. So you have 3, remaining 6, right? So now let's add 2 by the sides of the regions we just mentioned. So by the side of the epigastric region, we have what? We have right and left hypochondral region. Right and left hypochondral region. Besides your umbilical region, we have right and left lumbar region. And besides your pubic region, we have right and left inguinal region. Please don't mistake your hypochondral region for hypogastric region. They are both different. Like your liver sits in your right hypochondral region, the pubic region is placed for your rectum and the rest. That's it for that. Hey guys, what you just saw was just the tip of an iceberg. As you can see, anatomy is not hard. It just needs the right steps to study. That's why I developed this method I call tricks for studying anatomy. The first step is watching. When you get back home from after your anatomy class and the rest, you just sit down there and watch anatomy videos. And after that, you read your lecture notes, the notes your teacher gave you in class. And combine with that, you combine with a very good atlas. Good atlases like Netta and Pocket Atlas. With that, well, you top your class in anatomy. Wishing you the best of luck. Keep looking out for more videos from the Webs Med lectures. Thanks and God bless.